Hey everyone, Lotus Prince here. Wow, I haven't put a damn thing up since before I left for MagFest. This is one of the, if not the longest hiatus I've ever had. And I have an excuse, but it's kind of a lame one. See, my 5th anniversary of putting up Let's Plays is coming up, February 14th. And I wanted to make my game reveal, or to be more accurate, series reveal. I wanted to make it more bombastic to mark the occasion, and then I realized that I don't have the talent to do that, and I figured that out during editing, and I was like, See, my big reveal was that I was going to be. Wait for it. Everyone's been asking for it. I'm gonna do the Resident Evil series at long last, and I'm gonna start with Resident Evil Director's Cut, though I'm going to play the vanilla version. I can do arranged stuff later. So hooray! It's finally coming! February 14th. Get ready! That's my big reveal. That was such a spectacular reveal. Yay! What I was trying to do, though, was make the reveal itself more entertaining. I wanted to do, like a musical number, and then I realized that I didn't really have the resources to get the shots I wanted together, and I didn't have the talent to get the singing together. Yes! What I had originally planned was to do, you know that Little Mermaid song, Part of Your World? Look at this stuff, isn't it neat? However it goes is almost complete, or something like that. I wanted to do a version of that, except covering the Resident Evil series, and I even went so far as to borrow the use of a green screen from my friend Luminaire, who was kind enough to lend me his time and his patience, and somehow keep a straight face through my idiocy. And I can't really use that stuff because I was doing verses off of the top of my head at his place, and then I came back to my place and I did verses from earlier in the song, and then I realized that while I was on key during both instances, I was on a different key at my place and his, and the one I did at my place was the right one that goes with like karaoke music. I didn't really have time or really the nerve to be like, can I do it again? Just the whole thing. It's ugh. So it ultimately ended up crashing and burning, especially because I wasn't keeping the rhythm right at his place either. So I had to really fudge some stuff, and it would just like it got to the point where I was considering putting the video up ironically and having the description be like, "Oh God, what have I done? This is terrible." No, I kind of can't even really put it up to laugh at myself at. It's awful. It's awful. The only thing I'll do is I'll show you a muted version of the final shot I had planned. You know when Ariel's up on the rock and she says part of your world and all the water splashes up behind her? I was gonna do something like that. This is where the green screen comes in, except have a nuclear explosion going off from I won't spoil where in the Resident Evil series, and the shot by itself actually looks kind of alright. If you'll pardon the crazy crackling on my shirt, this is my very first time using a green screen, and I didn't bother fixing the shot because I'm not going to ultimately use it anyway. But you see where I was going with this. Unfortunately, it did not go anywhere good. So for that reason, I'm doing a regular ass update and telling you how it's going to be. So that was disappointing because I've actually been wanting to do that kind of thing for years, and ooh, I will stick with what I am good at. Note to self. So anyway, Resident Evil. It's finally here. Can you believe it? There are lots of Resident Evil games. There are more than I thought. So I'm going to have fun, although I'm going to need a lot of patience to go through all of them. Although, don't worry, I'm not going to go through every single game in a row, because you and I are going to get all Resident Evil'd out. So for that reason, I'll do one or maybe a few games in a row, and then bounce to something else to give everybody, including myself, a break. So I'm going to, again, open with Resident Evil. Now, I have the director's cut here because at this point, there's really no good reason to own the original PlayStation version, as the director's cut has it, plus the director's cut version. So unless you're just a hardcore collector and you want every version of the game, even for aesthetic, because I will admit the long box version of the original game looks pretty sweet, content-wise, this has it, but more. So I'll go with this version. Thank you. So, as far as the playthrough is going to go, though, I actually do have a question for you. Kind of two, actually. I am going to go through the vanilla version of Resident Evil with Jill. That's just the playthrough I chose. Now, again, that's the basic version of the game. Regarding arranged, should I just do clips of the arranged? Like, here are some differences between the original version and the arranged. See, this room looks different from that room. Like, should I do that and just do like a clip show of arranged shots from another Jill playthrough? Or should I do a full Chris playthrough, but of the arranged version of the game? Now, I ask this because you get to see the vanilla and the arranged versions this way, but at the same time, the plot is exactly the same. Some of the puzzles differ slightly. Chris deals with Rebecca and not Barry, but the game is largely the same, so would that be wasting your time if I did that? So should I do a clip show of arranged shots from Jill, or should I just do a full playthrough of Chris? Another reason I ask this is because I do want to do Resident Evil Remake, and would that be too redundant at that point? Should I just save the Chris playthrough for Remake? Those are my two questions. Clip show of arranged mode as Jill, or arranged mode as Chris, or clip show of arranged shots as Jill, and then forget the Chris playthrough, save the Chris playthrough for Remake. Again, I don't want to be too redundant, but I do want to show you all the content that the games have to offer, so it's kind of... Oh, and I guess secret third question, because I will do Remake. I want to do the games in the chronological order that they were released, but Remake comes a while after the first game. It's not until 2002. So, should I do Remake when the game was released, as far as the game order goes? Or should I do Remake Chris playthrough right after the Jill playthrough through here, because they're both Resident Evil 1. So, I'm talking in circles. Last time, should I do an arranged playthrough of Chris after Jill, or should I just do a remake playthrough of Chris? And then, should the remake playthrough come right after Jill, or should it come when Remake is released chronologically? The GameCube version, the first one. So, yeah, please let me know. Once again, I really apologize for the delay. It ultimately amounted to nothing, and I feel really irritated about that, but the show shall go on. Resident Evil, coming on February 14th. I eagerly await its release. Until next time, everyone.